everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. Today, we are going to the second playoff race of the Cup Series at Richmond, and we're also starting the playoffs for the Xfinity Series, but we come into the Cup Series 42 points to the good right now, so we're in a very good position going into Richmond, where we might be able to actually mathematically clinch our spot into the next round with a good run today, but we set our sights first on the Xfinity Series to start the playoffs. Hailie Deegan made the playoffs, obviously. Did not have a good starting position, though, for this race. She started in the 15th position, so it certainly wasn't a great effort to start this race, and it would be kind of a struggle throughout this whole race for Hailie as she came down into turns 3 and 4. Danielle Hemrick led, and by the time she came to the midway point of this race, still battling it out around 15th and 16th, trying to take 15th from the number 4 of Watermelon Boy, Ross Chastain, down the back straightaway as they went down into turns 3, and she really wouldn't be able to get any further at all after she got up to 15th by the time she came towards the final lap of this race, still running in that 15th position, and she came down the back straightaway for the final time down into turns 3 behind the number 1 of Elliott Sadler through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Hailie Deegan would come through and finish 15th in the first race of the playoffs. So not a great finish, but it actually was enough to still keep her comfortably above the cut line going into the Charlotte Roval, so I wasn't too concerned with that performance. And Daniel Hemrick obviously won the race, locking himself into the next round already now as he's 33 above the cut line. Hailie Deegan 11 above the cut line. Actually, it's 13 above the cut line. So a very good gap for her going into the Roval. Hopefully we get a good finish out of that from her now as we set our sights so to the Cup race, a track that I have struggled at previously, but the spring race this season we actually ran good. We had a top 10 finish, so I was really coming into this race hoping for another top 10. If we can finish in the top 10 here today in the Cup race, then we will definitely be in good shape going into the Charlotte Roval. So the goal is to just stay out of trouble and finish in the top 10, and obviously to get a top 10 we need a good qualifying effort, and we made it to the final session, the third session in qualifying down the back straightaway, sitting P2 at the moment with a 20.684 as I went down into turns 3 and 4. Decided I had to make at least one more lap, and as we came out of turn 4 through the trial coming across the line, we would hit a 20.663, so not much better but a little bit better, and that would qualify us in the 5th starting position for Richmond.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Richmond Raceway for the running of the Federated Auto Parts 400. Tonight we make our final stop at this 3/4 mile short track in Henrico County, Virginia. In previous years, this event marked the end of the regular season. But tonight, the stakes are even higher. A win at America's premier short track could move one of these drivers into the round of 12. With the unfamiliar Roval up next on the schedule, expect our contenders to really push to advance tonight. The NASCAR playoffs are in full swing, so let's go racing.
Alright, we are ready to go green in Richmond for the second race of the first round of the playoffs. The middle race, Austin Dillon sent to the back after an engine change, Clint Bowyer on the pole, and Jimmie Johnson on the outside front row as we get ready to start from the 5th starting position in Richmond behind the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. We are ready to go green. The green flag is out, and the second race of the playoffs is underway now as we try to solidify our position into the round of 12 with a good finish here tonight in Richmond as we head down into turns 1 for the first time. Bowyer, Johnson side by side. Now Bowyer clears the 48 on the exit of turn 2 as the 78 comes alongside him down the back straightaway going down into turns 3. Jimmie Johnson obviously not in the preferred lane as we move up the track, allowing our teammate Kyle Larson to get to my inside, so we would lose a spot on this first lap and drop down to the 6th position behind our Chip Ganassi Racing teammate of Kyle Larson as we head down through turns 1 and 2. All of the top 6 down here on the bottom line as Jimmie Johnson was able to stay clear of the 41 and get down towards the bottom as we head down through turns 3 and 4, and Clint Bowyer will come out of turn 4 to lead the first couple laps of this race as Almirola approached my back bumper, and by the time we came towards the end of lap 4, still in the same situation except Clint Bowyer moved up to the top and Martin Truex Jr. would go through to take the lead from him as Jimmie Johnson followed through to move up into the 2nd position as I started to get disconnected from the top 5 a little bit, so certainly not having a ton of speed, and I don't come into this race expecting to be a contender for the win, so we were just, like I said, trying to come out of here with a top 10, and right now we're executing that perfectly as Bowyer would drift back now side by side with our teammate Kyle Larson across the line, and he would fall back down the order just a little bit, but he would get back past 41 of Kurt Busch, who started to fall off as Jimmie Johnson took the lead at the midway point in this first stage. and it looked like we were certainly showing some more speed as this stage went on. As we come through turns 3 and 4, the 41 moves up the track, allowing me to look to his inside as Kurt Busch. He is trying to make a run for this championship for the last time in the 41 car before he moves over to take over my position next season in this number 1 car. As we come out of turn 2, clearing the 41 of Kurt Busch to move into the top 5 now as Jimmy Johnson, the 7-time champ, leads this race as we head down into turn 3 on lap 15, now closing in even more on the back of the 14 of Boyer. Our teammate Larson says P3 and Truex in second as Johnson starting to build a gap between himself and the rest of the cars as we head down into turns 1, right on the back of the 14, through turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway, just really trying to maintain my pace right now as we're sitting in a very good position in this first stage as we come through turns 3 and 4. Kurt Busch still lurking behind me as we come across the line, just 8 to go there, but by the time we come to 2 to go in the stage, still in the same position, but I'm starting to have to play defense mode on the 41, trying to hold on to that 5th position as Jimmy Johnson has driven away even further at this point as he is in command to try and win this first stage as he is coming up on lap traffic, but it's not really going to be an issue as we head down into turns 3 and 4, still on the back bumper, actually about a car length off of the 14 as we come through to cross the line. The white flag in stage 1 is in the air as we head down into turns 1 and 2 for the final time in this first stage. Johnson trying to solidify his chance at making it to this next round of the playoffs and keep his chances at 8th championship alive as we head down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time in the first stage. Jimmy Johnson wins the stage, and we will come through to get P5 in stage 1, so a very good finish for us to start this race as Jimmy Johnson adds a playoff point for him for the next round. We obviously already have another playoff point after winning stage 2 in Las Vegas last episode. And no one would pit on this stage break, so obviously I would stay out and start on the inside line in P5, so certainly an advantage to myself, my teammate Kyle Larson, and a huge advantage to Jimmy Johnson as we get ready to go green, and the green flag is back out. We are underway. The second stage is going as we cross the line. It is just a 22-lap stage now as we make the dive down into turns 1. You're going to notice how I have my mirror off a lot in this race, and it's because the frame rate is terrible at Richmond, so you have to have the mirror off if you want the frame rate to be half decent. So I'm certainly going to be looking behind me a lot instead of using the mirror. You're going to notice that quite a bit. But as we come through turns 3 and 4 on the inside of the 78 of Truex now as we come across the line to complete this first lap. And as we head down into turns 1, still on the inside of the 78 car, through the center of the corner, we will clear the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. as we exit turn 2, down the back straightaway, now setting our sights on our teammate, the 42 of Kyle Larson, still looking for his first win on the season as we come through turns 3 and 4. Certainly not looking like he has the speed, though, today to contend with Jimmy Johnson, as it doesn't look like any of us have speed right now to contend with the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, as he is clearly dominating this race very early on as we're on the back of our teammate Larson, looking to the inside going into turn 3, and we're going to make the move as we ascended up the inside of Kyle Larson through turns 3 and 4, and out of turn 4 we just about clear him, but he's going to stay on my outside as we have to get defensive with the 4 as we cross the line going into turns 1 now. Larson on that top line, we finally do get clear of him as we exit turn 2, so we would briefly take over the second position in this race. And by the time we came to the end of lap 5, you're going to see Harvick looking to my inside again, and as we go into turns 1, I do give him the chance to make the move to the inside as I felt like I was just being a roadblock, so we let him have that inside line down the back straightaway, and I would try to get in behind him, and we would do just that as we go through turns 3 and 4, so falling down to third place, not what we were hoping would happen, but I had to let the 4 car go, unfortunately, as we went down into turns 1, and the 24 behind me, William Byron, having a great run in this race, and he's certainly showing much more speed than I was as we came down the back straightaway again. And as we came to just past the midway point, 10 to go in this second stage, still running into third position as we come out of turn 4. Ryan Blaney looking to my inside as we kind of cut him off on the straightaway as we go down towards turn 1 as Jimmy Johnson continues to pull away as I barely touched the apron there, pushing me up the track, allowing the 12 of Blaney to look to my inside, and I really couldn't fight with him too much as we went down into turns 3. I would let him go by, as well as William Byron would sneak up on my inside as well as we came through across the start-finish line as we would head down into turns 1 side by side now with the 24 of William Byron. Blaney and Byron both missed the playoffs as they are now having great runs here in Richmond as we battle side by side with Byron down the back straightaway, but we would end up giving him the position as we came out of turn 4. He would be able to get clear of me as we would settle in the 5th position so far down into turns 1. By the time we came to just 3 to go, approaching 2 to go, we're still running 5th behind the 24 of Byron, who's actually fallen off a bit. We finished 5th I believe, in stage 1, and it looks like we might do that again here in this second stage as we head down into turns 1 and 2 on the back bumper of the 24 of William Byron as we come out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Once again, Jimmy Johnson in command as we come through turns 3 and turns 4, getting sideways into the corner as we exit turn 4. The white flag in stage 2 is in the air. Jimmy Johnson 3.5 seconds ahead of me, so he is in great shape as we head down into turns 1 and 2 for the final time in the stage as our teammate Kyle Larson lurks behind me as we come down the back straightaway for the final time in stage 2 into turns 3 and 4, looking like we're not going to be able to take fourth from Byron as we exit turn 4. Jimmy Johnson wins stage 2, and we will once again finish 5th in the stage. So a good solid finish once again, and Jimmy Johnson adds another playoff point for himself. And I would have to come to pit road along with the other AI drivers, but the only difference was I felt like I had to take 4 tires if I wanted to be competitive, and of course the AI would take 2 tires, dropping me back 13 positions down to the 18th spot. And I know we have a top 10 car, so I wasn't too concerned that I know we can still rebound, but we're starting on the outside, and that's not what we need as the green flag is back out. The final stage in Richmond is underway as we come through across the line. It is 48 laps in this final stage as we go down into turns 1, trying to make the outside work as we take Chase Elliott 3 wide through turns 1 and 2 as we exit the corner, now passing the 9 of Elliott down the back straightaway as we head down into turns 3 and 4, coming through to try and complete this first lap of the final stage as we're all over the back of AJ Allmendinger now as we come across the line, trying to get to that bottom lane now as we make contact with the 14 of Boyer, and we hit the wall, and sideways Clint Boyer goes, but he's going to hang on to the car with a huge save, and unfortunately we got a little bit of damage from hitting the wall, and that's not what I meant to do at all, as I just tried to get to the bottom, and the 14 checked up a bit, and I hit him in the side, and sideways he went, but fortunately we both hang on to our cars and keep going in this race. And that was certainly my fault with what happened there with the 14, but fortunately, like I said, we both keep going as we now try to pass 51 of Harrison Rhodes on the inside, down the back straightaway, going into turn 3, getting up to the 19th position behind the number 88 of Alex Bowman, who also missed the playoffs, unfortunately, for himself as we came across the line with just 45 laps to go as Chase Elliott, a playoff contender, sits behind me going down into turns 1 and 2 as Allmendinger, we close in on the back of him, down the back straightaway, a chance to look to his inside if we dive up the inside going into turn 3 as we do just that, making a little bit of contact with him as we come through turn 3 and 4, but moving up to the 18th position as he tries to battle back on my outside as we hit 44 to go, and by the time we came to lap 40 or 58 with 43 to go, we would get up to P16, looking to the inside of the 95 with Casey Kane, trying to move up into the top 15 now as we continued to rally our way forwards in this race as we would clear the 95 and get to the back bumper of the 21 of Paul Menard as we came at a turn 4, crossing the line to hit 42 laps to go in this race. And now as Menard and Dillon battle side by side, that allows me to look to the inside of the 3 of Austin Dillon as we come out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Elliott continuing to follow me through the field as we move up into that 14th spot, clear of the 3 of Austin Dillon as he continues to fall back on that outside line. By the time we came to lap 71, 30 to go, we got up to P11 as Elliott still continued to follow me through the pack as we were behind 10th place now of Joey Logano, who is closing in on his Penske Racing teammate of Brad Keselowski as we just come down the back straightaway, trying to work ourselves into the top 10 now as we come through turns 3 and 4. As you see, our teammate Kyle Larson ahead up in that 8th spot, battling for 7th. And by the time we came to lap 73, we had a chance to look to the inside of Keselowski after Logano passed him, and we would come out of turn 4 side by side with the 2 of Brad Keselowski across the line, moving now towards the top 10 if we can get past him as we head down into turns 1 and 2. And we do get clear of the 2 of Keselowski as he falls in line, and we would move up into the 10th position here in Richmond with just over 25 laps to go as we head through turns 3 and 4, setting our sights once again on the 22 Penske Ford of Joey Logano as we came across the line. And by the time we came to lap 83, we were starting to work our way through lap traffic, still following that 22 of Logano. We got past our teammate Kyle Larson as well, as Keselowski would still continue to follow me in line as we went down into turns 1 and 2 with 17 laps remaining in this race. And up ahead, you see a big group of cars, and we were closing in on these cars pretty fast. By the time we came to lap 86, we did catch this group of lap traffic, and we were kind of stuck in a bit of a traffic jam as we came out of turn 4 with Keselowski still behind me, and my teammate Kyle Larson closing back in on this pack. We went down into turns 1 and 2 with just 14 laps to go in this race, and I decided, you know what, we need to try something and move to the top line, trying to get past all of these cars on the bottom. So I went to the top into turns 3 and 4, coming alongside the 22 of Joey Logano through turns 3 and 4, trying to edge out ahead of him, but as we come across the line, Logano would actually pull away just a little bit as we went down into turns 1, try and get ahead of him as he is going to go 3 wide with me and DJ Kennington kind of forcing me out, and we would actually lose more time than we gained as we went down into turns 3 and 4. Now behind the 22 of Joey Logano as we exit the corner, just trying to push him ahead, which will also allow me to get ahead as we hit 12 to go in this race. Running out of time now as we head down into turns 1 and 2, making contact with the back bumper of the 22 of Joey Logano as we exit the corner. Fortunately, no damage to the front end as we touch the back of the 8 of Daniel Hemrick as we head down into turns 3 and 4 now as we are still alongside the 2 of Brad Keselowski as we come through across the line to hit 11 to go in this race. And as we head down towards turn 1, side by side with the 2 of Keselowski behind Logano, and the 2 is going to hit me in the left rear. And up the track we go as Keselowski is starting to get physical as he battles alongside with my teammate Kyle Larson. I certainly was not happy at the time, so I went into turn 3 and gave him the bumper and got him sideways, but he would hang on to the car, and we would certainly lose some time, but we would gain 2 spots by the time we came to lap 96 and get a caution with just 5 laps to go in this race, and this would set us up for an overtime finish, starting in the 7th position behind our teammate of Kyle Larson as we get ready to go green, and it's overtime here in Richmond as Jimmy Johnson continues to lead as he tries to hang on to the victory in Richmond as we head down into turns 1. Like I said, we got back past the 2 of Keselowski, now on the inside of Joey Logano with just over a lap and a half to go here in Richmond to decide a possible lock into the round of 12 now as we head down into turns 3 and 4, looking to the inside of the 4 of Kevin Harvick as we exit the corner across the line. The white flag is out. Jimmy Johnson tries to solidify his position into the round of 12 as we make a move up the inside of Harvick into turns 1 and 2 as we exit the corner down the back straightaway for the final time here in Richmond, going towards turns 3 on the inside of the 4 still as we head into the corner. Elliott behind me is following through on the inside of Harvick, and we will exit turn 4. Jimmy Johnson punches his ticket into the round of 12, and we will finish in the 5th position here in Richmond. So we finished 5th in stage 1, stage 2, and in the race. So a great effort from ourselves, and fortunately this would mean good things for me, because even though we didn't win, we locked ourselves in on points to the round of 12, and a playoff contender, Eric Jones, DNF'd from this race now, and that's going to be a big hit for him going in to the Charlotte Roval. As you see the points grid there, we are locked in on points, 66 to the good, or even 68, as Almirola's 2 out over last place in Chase Elliott, Stenhouse 10 out, Jones 18 out, and Bubba Wallace 35 out. So really, Eric Jones and Bubba Wallace realistically are in a must-win situation, and Almirola, he can certainly point his way in to the next round. I mean, one good stage finish against Chase Elliott, and he will probably be into the next round, at least temporarily. And Eric Almirola got eliminated in this round last season, and we know he does not want to do that again in our career mode. And then in the next episode, we will be going to the Charlotte Roval for the Xfinity Series and to decide who makes the round of 12 in the Cup Series. So we'll see who can make it into this next round out of the 4 drivers that are out. As you see, Stenhouse and Almirola are the closest to making it. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch one of my videos. And I will see you guys in the next episode where we decide the 12 drivers who will compete or continue to compete in the playoffs. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a great day, everybody.